When I first met her, I was just immediately in love.
Start of season 2, Rue has convinced herself that the best way to live life is to try to be a functioning drug addict. She thinks she has it under control. She thinks she knows what she wants. She thinks she can have her cake and eat it too, which I think we all know that this is not going to last and it's not going to end well. She is able to finally express herself and become a part of a real relationship, but unfortunately it's done with the help of drugs. You know, she can't seem to find that on her own, which is, again, we're happy for them to be together, but then, you know, there's a pain, everything in Euphoria. You know, you can't just be happy.
As soon as I saw her, I was just immediately afraid to lose her.
I think we're finding Jules still kind of dealing with the aftermath of where we left off in season 1 and what she was dealing with in her special episode. I think when we first see her at the New Year's Eve party, she's kind of just like trying to forget it all and maybe move on with things, which is rather impossible when everyone that was involved in the first semester's chaos is at this party. So that state of mind doesn't last very long.
I'm your favorite person.
Elliot's this kid that goes to their high school. As soon as he meets Rue, he's like completely attached, which is crazy. And it gets a little messy, but I think it provides much needed change for the relationship between Jules and Rue.
I feel like I would look so sexy pregnant. Maddy, please do not get pregnant.
We find Maddy single, but maybe talking to Nate still, this like in-between phase between them two, and at a New Year's party, just trying to get in the bathroom to pee.
Like a relationship kind of girl, right?
You guys can all judge me if you want, but I do not care. I have never, ever been happier.
Unfortunately, her strong, single woman powerhood wasn't going as expected, and she is very down on herself, drinking, and she kind of falls for something she shouldn't.
We pick up right where we left off. You know, he's kind of had this mental collapse in the last season, and you sort of find this like lost soul sort of trying to navigate where he's at, what he's doing, trying to regain control and then sort of get his feet on the ground.
I mean, the last scene that Lexi did in season 1, she was like talking about meeting boys, and she was asking Cassie, like, how do I meet a boy? Like, do I just go up to them and like introduce myself? She wants so badly to be able to be more confident, but she struggles there. So I think the beginning of season 2, she's ready, but she's still trying to figure her stuff out.
At the very beginning of episode 1, we picked back up in the same exact scene where we left Fesco in season 1. They're counting the blood money, and you don't get to see what happened season 1, but season 2, episode 1, you find out.
I do want to protect him, and what I know is this relationship you two have is not sustainable.
Cal is out there living his truth. He's owning his integrity, and it's a lot different than last season. He was a little bit more contained, very controlled, very careful. And this season, he comes entirely undone.
I raised you. You wish I was different. So do I.
In season 2, we find Leslie still back at that steering wheel of life, trying to get Rue clean, get her to take accountability for the decision she's making, and also taking some time to pivot and pay attention to Gia, who's also being affected. And because a lot of season 1 was about trying to get Rue healthy, right? And I think now Leslie has to make some hard decisions about, do I want to lose another child? Whether it's to drugs or to suicide, depression, anxiety, you know, so I think Leslie will have to make some hard decisions in season 2.
I think we find Gia
in a lot of confusion and pain. Obviously, she has grown up a little bit and she understands the severity of her sister's addiction. She understands it and she sees it, and it is still affecting her and her family, obviously, but I think she comes to terms with she can't help her sister in the way she thought she could in season 1. And she has to start loving herself, and she has to start becoming her own human. So I think we see the growth in her as a young woman and as a young person, but I also would not say that she still goes through that pain and that confusion and that hurt that she's experiencing because of her sister's decisions and addiction and mental health, and just everything is hurtful to her.
So, Rue, the $64,000 question is, what's in the suitcase?
You find Ali believing that he's struck a deeper bond with Rue, especially since the bridge episode, that they have a true understanding of each other. So I think that that's where he begins, and then that bond is broken because the disease of addiction is heavily clouding Z's decisions. But he understands it, and he's trying to, strike that balance of like still trying to be there for her, but also hold her accountable and offer her choices.
Ethan.
Yeah, you said that.
The beginning of the season, seeing Ethan with Kat and seeing what it's like when they're actually together, and not just the kind of push and pull of if they're going to be or not,
There's a lot of, I think, through themes in Euphoria, and I think, yes, love is definitely one of them because it's often an emotion you can't control, and it's often an emotion that or a feeling that we all want and all search for.
I think Cassie's addicted to love. I think she's addicted to the validation that it gives her and the feeling. She makes a lot of decisions based on her draw towards that, and I understand that because I love love too, and I'm addicted to it too, and I may not make all the right decisions also because I follow my heart, and I think it's a very universal theme.
I think the basis of Nate is the whole thing is based around this kind of lost child looking for love, or trying to understand whether it's a controlling love or a giving love or an aggressive love or a gentle love. Like, he just has absolutely no idea how to navigate that space. And I think a lot of these insane situations you see him in are kind of his fucked up way of trying to figure out how to love, because he doesn't have his parents or his home life. There's nothing for him to gauge it off of or base it off of. It's completely skewed.
If people and when people watch the show experience a little more empathy, whether they know someone like these characters or they see themselves in some of these characters, just having more empathy for themselves and for others, because no one is perfect. Everyone makes mistakes, even the people that think they don't. So just being a little less judgmental and being a little more empathetic towards everyone and yourself.
The idea of hope, and then there is something at the end of all of this, I think is something that I try to hold on to, because without it, the season would just be too hard. Once we got halfway through, it was like, this is just too much. Like, we need hope. We need a good ending. We need something beautiful to happen in order to get through this, because it's not something you can get through without that,